we have a segment that we call here. I haven't done it in a while, but a segment that we do here regularly on MLB Now. It's called Hit or Error, America's favorite game show. I don't take errors very seriously. They're straight out of the 1800s when the game was singles and small gloves. Range is so much more important for defense than the occasional obvious botched play. But it is fun, and I will admit there is a one time where discerning between a hit or an error makes a difference. That's in the single pitcher no-hit situation. And that's what happened on Sunday with the Yanks and Rays. So let's play America's favorite game show, Hit or Error. Okay, Yanks, Rays yesterday, 6th inning, 1 out. We're in actual no-hit territory. Bouncer to first, Paul Goldschmidt. Can't make the play. Now, he was moving to his right. Not easy, but it did bounce right off his glove. Chandler Simpson running hard. He's fast. Ruled an error in real time by official scorer Bill Matthews. No-hitter was still intact through the rest of the 6th and then the 7th inning. Here's the thing. The call could go either way. Most all of these things could go either way. We do it year-round here on this show. We know. But Fried came out in the 8th inning. Again, that was in the 6th. In the 8th inning with a no-hitter, everybody looked up, and lo and behold, the 0 in the H column became a 1, as in a one-hitter. There was a hit there suddenly. Matthews said he saw the replays and he changed the call. He's allowed to do that. And if you're thinking he has some kind of time limit, he doesn't. In fact, some official scoring plays are flipped days later after an appeal to the league. We talk about this all the time on Hit or Error. Of course, there's never been an error flipped in a no-hitter a few days later. I don't think that's going to happen. But as long as fans seem to be dogpiling on this official score, let's play the game, all right? Similar plays at first base. This is all from this year, all right? This is Tyler Soderstrom of the A's. Ruling went right off his glove. The ruling was that was a hit. There we go. Keep that in mind. Next, Pavin Smith of the Diamondbacks. Again, watch the play at first base. Smith right off his glove. Runner is there. What's the ruling on this? Hit or error? This is a hit. Pavin Smith, a hit with 2 for 2. Carlos Santana of the Guardians. Watch this play. Santana is up. He's up. He lost the ball. He lost all over the place. Hit or error? This was ruled. I think you're playing this game now if you know how to play the game. A hit. Yes, it is. Ryan O'Hearn of the Orioles. Watch this play. He's up. He's got nothing. What's it ruled? This is all from this year. This ruled a hit as well. Let's look at Josh Smith of the Rangers. Also at first base. This is all from this year. Scoops it, makes it, and throws it away. All right, so that's an error, right? Ruled a hit. You got another hit. You want another one? Eric Wagman of the Miami Marlins is at first base here. Scoops it up. He's going to second. He's going to first. And no, not in time. He didn't really botch it. He didn't get an out. Hit. No errors on these plays. You get the idea. These days, it takes a lot to be snagged with an error at first base. Also, in real time, it's difficult to see everything that happens on a play, process it properly. It's like being a witness in court. How many feet were between you and the defendant at the time? 20 feet. Oh, 25? Well, which is it? Well, what time did this happen? 10:30 or maybe 11? Oh, that's quite a difference, isn't it? Are you really sure about anything? See? We don't know. So here's what Bill Matthews saw in the replays. When you slow it down, you have a better look at this smacking Goldschmidt in the glove. He had put himself in position to make the play. Also, Chandler Simpson, last 2 years in the minor leagues, he's stolen 104 and 94 bases. This kid can fly. He was going over 30 feet per second up the line. That's elite speed. You also saw that Chandler Simpson was well down this line by the time the ball went past Goldschmidt. It took a few minutes, but it took guts for Matthews to make this call. The call he wished he probably had made initially. Did he catch a break by getting kind of bailed out with an 8th inning single? Yes, he did. But that's the way it works out. It's not easy if you're going to play the man's game and play hit or error. So we're asking you, are you good with the way errors are assessed right now in Major League Baseball? Because it has gotten more, Ron Darling, shall we say, more understanding? I don't want to just say more lax. I don't want to say we're soft on crime. Steve Phillips here as well. Where are we on this?
Lenient?
Lenient, yes. Certainly.
We're going. I think all those plays, Steve and I were looking at each other like, really?
Yeah. When you line them up, it gets your attention.
I think one of the things, Steve and I watched ton of games, and one of the things that has become thematic the last 2-3 years is that if there is a choice, it's going to be a hit almost all the time. So they're erroring on given hits on plays that look like they're going to be hit or an error. Now, those plays at first, breaking it down, listen, official scores, it's a very hard job.
Yep.
And to be kind of put out there, Mr. Matthews, and have to take in all of that vitriol, probably not the right place. But I think that what has happened is that we feel it's all right to wait and get it right over a course of time, 3 innings, in fact, here. But in a no-hit game, I don't think you're allowed that. That's the one instance where you are allowed 3 minutes, not really 3 innings, only because of the nature. Listen, if he had given up 1 hit, that 1 hit the Goldschmidt, he wouldn't have gone out for the 8th inning. Or maybe he wouldn't.
That's true.
It would have changed maybe a decision.
Right. It influences things less than it used to.
That's right.
But right, it does change things. I thought Steve, he got it in just under the wire and then got bailed out. Was it too long, or what's your read?
Yeah, I think it's too long for me. Now, the difficulty is the official score. It's not like while the game's going on, you can watch video because you've got to watch the game because you've got to make the next call on whether it's a hit or an error. Look, I think in this era that we're in right now, generally, the hometown scorekeeper rewards the hometown hitter, it feels like, right? That they're more generous to their own hitters. It's a borderline. It does.
I'd be low. I don't know if I'd want to say that. I think it's gone lax all around.
I don't know.
The benefit of the doubt happens now.
It always feels to me like the hometown hitter gets a bit of an advantage in it. And I'm okay. It is what it is. But I think hometown score, let's put it this way. When a player on your team ends up getting a ball that he hit that they call an error instead of a hit, they're all looking up there going like what are you doing? This is like to their own guy. They're like, we're your team, and everything. But you're not really their team.
No, you're not.
They're unbiased
you're an official
and everything
scorer.
else. I get it.
Right.
So I look at it and think, certainly Goldschmidt misplayed the ball.
Yeah.
Right. That's the easy part of this. The question is, and I think the decision was made, if he had fielded it cleanly, would they have been able to get Simpson out at first base? Would Fried have beaten him to first base? Now, earlier in the game, there was a similar play where Fried did beat him to first base, and they got the out there.
I don't think you can assume that. We were looking at the play again and again, although you can say, wow, now that I look at the replay, that kid is almost at first by the time Goldschmidt would have been turning. Like, that's all right. I just think, like, you have a certain amount of time, like, to make that call. I'm not with you, Ronnie. I think he got it in just in time.
Okay, all right.
But like in a no-hitter, also a no-hitter is not some official thing. It's something we deem important, and it used to be followed by, again, if a guy had a no-hitter back in the old days, you stayed in. Now that doesn't happen as much. But I like that it's somewhat taken seriously in this case.
Steve made a good point. The human nature of being an official scorer is that you lean to your team, and if it's in between, you want to give them a hit. You don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of that. Simpson is a new player on their team who they want to be a superstar. That's human nature, too, to see, God, this kid is so fast. Anything close is going to be a hit. The thing you can't get locked into, would Fried beat him to the bag? He doesn't have to beat him to the bag, and I'll tell you how. If Goldschmidt comes up with that ball, fires it to Fried, he doesn't have to tag the bag. He can tag the runner.
Yeah,
because he's left-handed.
I think Fried was getting there anyway. I know we're getting lost in the woods here, but yeah.
Even if he wasn't, that is a play that's unique to left-handed pitchers, that he could have thrown that right arm and just snapped it on him, and he could have been out.
One thing's for sure, that there are fewer errors per game now, and one way of looking at it is that, look, errors are not as important, right? As compared to range, Steve, you brought up a point. There are misplays, right? There are plenty of misplays. Is it an error or not? Does it matter? Look at this from 1990, Ronnie. That's a significant drop. It's also, I think, part of the StatCast era, which is only from 2015 to now, where now you can see, and this is legit, where you say, ooh, that ball ate him up. A hot shot ate him up. Now you can go, what did he hit that at? 105. Oh, that's a hit. Do you know what I mean? So now you have that fall back, too.
I think we have that. You also have a league that is really, most people, especially the show, might discount the batting average as other more important numbers, but the batting average is stark. It's in the 230s, sometimes dipping to the 220s, and if you are an official scorer, maybe you want to give a hit more than errors to make that up. Listen, in my lifetime, the way of fielding has changed completely. It used to be get in front of the ball, play it off your body if you had to, and you use 2 hands. That has switched completely. It is now taught 1 hand, more range, and maybe you can get to more balls. I think the guys are stronger, bigger, faster. What they do velocity-wise as pitchers, how far they hit the ball as hitters are better than ever. But it'd be hard-pressed for me to say that it's better fielding league than it was.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
I don't buy that.
Do you buy that?
That fielding's better?
Better.
I don't think it's better. No, I don't. I think the same hard hit balls, same tough plays to be made. I don't think we're any better at it than we were before. And offense is so important now that we'll put guys that can hit over defend so many times more in the infield. And if you start to lose, then you might think, oh, we need to reconfigure our team. But here's the thing I say. If you believe that Fried was beating Simpson to the base, then it can only be an error. There's no other way around it.
Yeah.
Right? It could only have been an error.
Yeah.
So it should have been an error.
No, I think you could rule that Simpson was beating everybody to the base. That Goldschmidt wouldn't have been able to get it over there.
Did you think Fried was going to beat him to the base?
Possibly, yes. I think so. It's a leaning yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that, to me, it would be an error on Goldschmidt for botching the ball, because otherwise he's there in time to be able to make the play and get the out at first base.
Again, when we play hit or error, we could go back and forth. And what we do is like say, and it's always the same conversation. It's like, you got to make that play. I don't know, that's a really tough play. Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, it's all hard to say. I look at it like boxing, in that the athleticism has gotten better, but has the craft gotten better? No. Like, not necessarily in baseball. Baseball's a craft sport. And and to say guys in the 60s and 70s, they weren't in the kind of shape that guys are in now. True. But they took their fielding and their base running, I think, more seriously, and more of those players made it to the majors than just the tools monsters that make it now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. And then the little third part of this, maybe for all of us, is that Paul Goldschmidt is one of the best fielding first basemen of his generation.
Yes.
So if you're a fielder and you get a bad hop, then you rule that a hit, right? This wasn't a ridiculously bad hop, but it did come up on him just enough to get to the heel of his glove and not in his pocket. And when you're as good as Goldschmidt, that really makes a difference in the way that he feels.
You know, one thing, I think Bill Matthews had time to take a look at the replays, because there was the beef out on the field with Aaron Judge's non-home run call. Let's take a look at that, where that was strange. And look, another thing that, like, hey, did it go over the pole? Are the poles in a major league park taller? We're not sure. But actually, they finally got to a replay, Ronnie, where you could see, oh, wait, that ball was actually very fair. Jazz Chisholm and Aaron Boone probably had a better angle on it, but I guess they didn't get that angle back in New York when they were looking at it, because Aaron Boone thought for sure. So I guess they just didn't see that final angle of that ball going into the trees in fair territory.
You know, I just did a game in West Sacramento. The Oakland A's also are playing in a AAA ballpark, and the foul poles were so short. You thought it was going to come into play at some point, and it comes into play in Tampa. The person that has the best view of this usually is the dugout on the first base side. The manager is always looking right down the line and can see that perfectly. That happened to be Tampa, not.
This is the angle now, right? I'm waiting for this angle to show up. I mean, there it is. That's the. So I guess that angle from that had event didn't get to New York quickly enough.
Yeah, well, if it did, from that angle, it looks like it's foul into the trees. But from the other angle, you can tell what part of the tree is foul, what part of the tree is fair, and it fell into the part of the tree that was fair.
Yeah, I think that think about what the umpires have done. The call on the field was foul ball. Then back in New York, they review it, and I think they did see that video. I thought they get every angle, every camera angle they can get in New York.
You would think, but they're under time constraints as well.
Yeah, but
they got to get that done.
They get every angle, and so, but if you have one video that looks like it's foul, and another one that looks like it's fair, and the call on the field was foul,
you have to overrule it.
Then you have to go with the call that was on the field.
You didn't think that was up, that one shot, you didn't think that was obvious that it was fair?
Oh, no, it was to me. But then you're questioning angles, right? Yeah. You're questioning angles of where this comes through. No, this one looks like it's fair. There it is. Right, it does look like it's fair.
It's defying the law of physics that it wouldn't be fair. Like, you can't go back that way from a right-handed hitter, right?
It seems like that.
Ronnie, right?
You can't,
where are you?
No, you can't. And, and the thing that really depresses me is at some point, if Judge is at a record number and needs one more, and it's the last day of the season.
We were thinking, it was like, these things happen. It's like, that's an Aaron Judge home run.
Yeah.
That could be 60, that could be 700, that could be a lot of different things. We take these things very seriously around here.